morning, everyone. Start reading the Torah portion of Shoftim. Reminded of the story that there was once these two brothers, paupers. They used to come every year to Rothschild for a contribution, an annual contribution. And one year, only one brother shows up. So Rothschild gives him half the amount that he would give them normally. He says, "What happened to your brother?" He says, "My brother died." So he gives him half the amount. He says, "Why are you only giving me half the amount that you always give?" He says, "Because your brother passed away, so I'm only giving you half." So he said, the poor man says to Rothschild, "Who's my brother's ear, me or you?" This week's parsha begins with the mitzvah of justice. And it says you should have judges in all your gates. And the Bali Musa, the ethicists, say that it's a very important lesson for the month of Elul, that there are many gateways to the human soul. Your eyes are a gateway, your ears are a gateway, your mouth is a gateway. Make sure you put judges and officers at all your gateways to discern what's going in and what's going out. If half of the battle during the month of getting ready for Rosh Hashanah and Kippur is how do we use our eyes, how do we use our ears, and how do we use our mouth? What goes in and out of these gateways of the body? But then the Torah says that you should not pervert justice, you should not show favoritism, because we're all judges, and when you're the judge, you should judge honestly. And then it says, and don't accept a bribe. And so Rashi asks, it already says don't pervert justice. Obviously, you shouldn't take a bribe. That's the biggest perversion of justice. Once it says don't pervert justice, why does it have to say don't take a bribe? So Rashi says, even if you're taking a bribe to judge truthfully, you say, look, I'm going to give the true judgment, but I'll take a bribe. I'll make some money on the side, but I'm not going to distort my judgment. Even then it's forbidden, because once you take a bribe, you can't trust yourself. Your eyes are clouded, as it says, your mind is distorted, and you cannot see truth from falsehood. And the obvious lesson in the month of Elul is that when we have a personal bias, a personal motive, or a ulterior gain motive, then we can't see clearly, and therefore we can't discern right from wrong. We need to get an objective perspective. But then the big question is, why does it say it twice? Tzedek, tzedek, tirdov. Justice, justice shall you pursue. And one of the answers given is that even justice has to be performed in a way that's just. Sometimes people say, well, the ends justify the means. So the Torah says, no, the ends doesn't justify the means. Not only does the end have to be just, but the means to the end has to be just. Slightly different, the word tzedek is the root of the word tzedakah, charity. We perceive tzedakah not as an act of charity, which is going above and beyond the call of duty, but it's an act of justice, that if you're blessed with more resources than someone else, you have a duty and obligation to share it with someone else. It's a just thing to do. That tzedakah has to be done in a just way. I'll never forget, there was a woman in this community, I won't mention her name, but her mother was a seamstress her whole life. And then she got elderly, her eyes were, fraying a little bit, and she couldn't see so well, and her hands weren't so good. And she lost her job, and her mother was a little depressed because now she had nothing to do all day and no, source of income. And the daughter saw her, so she had two choices. One choice is send her mother money every month, so she has enough money, she doesn't have to work. What the daughter did, and I knew this woman, she would go around to the Salvation Army, she would go collect old clothing, buy them, whatever she can. And she would rip them and pull the hems out and break the zippers and do whatever she had to do. And she sent it to a local tailor in the community and said, look, I want you to hire my mother to fix these items. I'll give you money to pay her every month. And this woman, until she died for many years, she would go in every day and work for a few hours fixing these clothing that the daughter was sending. And the money was being transferred through the tailor shop to pay this woman from her daughter. But rather than give her tzedakah in a way that she feels, I'm dependent on my daughter to support me and I sit home all day with nothing to do, she gave her mother something to look forward to every day, to go have a job, have self-esteem, have pride, have a sense of accomplishment and purpose in life, and earn her own income. And when I thought of that, I thought of tzedek, tzedek, tirdov, that we could all give tzedakah, and we all do give tzedakah. But how we give tzedakah, how we make the person feel, whether we do it with a smile, whether we do it with cheer, whether we do it with words of encouragement, whether we do it with preserving the person's dignity, that's a big factor in tzedek, tzedek, pursue charity and justice in a just and charitable way.